Hello, everyone. This is Alexander Horat and Maria Horat. We are relocation experts here in Northern California, and we mainly serve the Bay Area and surrounding communities, including the foothills. And today we're going to be talking about a very important topic that is all facing us here in the United States, and that is cyber attacks. We've actually seen a few big cyber attacks happening in the United States, with, we believe, more to come. So I'm going to give the floor to Maria Horat, and she's going to tell us a little bit about these cyber attacks that are going on.
Thank you, Alex. So just in the last few hours, just today, we have seen quite a few cyber attacks taking place. And just even a couple within the last week, we have seen the World Economic Forum making an announcement and telling us how to cope with cyber extortion from ransomware. And we know that Klaus Schwab has made a statement that basically the next wave of terror, so to speak, is going to be a cyber attack. So everybody in that realm seem to understand or know somehow that that's what's coming to us.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
So just today we had the DRE Lic hackers that are claimed to have done a cyber attack that hit 70% of Iran's gas stations. We also, in the news today, we found that Washington County government was hit by a cyber attack. And Vans North Face owner said that a cyber attack is disrupting his ability to fulfill orders. And of course, the two big ones today was that mortgage giant Mr. Cooper was hit with cyber attack, possibly affecting more than 14 million customers.
So how do you think this cyber attack attacking Mr. Cooper is going to affect the real estate market?
Well, and they're saying that it's not just the customers, just the current customers, also previous or past customers are also going to be affected by these. So, you know, if people cannot trust or have their money safely put in the bank, and their accounts are going to be hacked, and their mortgage accounts are going to be hacked, and all their private information is going to be taken, then we know that that's going to, you know, cause major disruptions in the mortgage for the mortgage holders and the consumer in general, because that's just one way they can get all your information and do a lot of damage with it. So we're hoping that that doesn't continue, but that definitely will have an effect, not just in the mortgage markets, but in the economy in general. There was another company today that was hacked. Which one was that, Alex? I think it was
Kitco. That was gold and silver dealer who sells gold and silver coins. They were hacked. That's a pretty big company that sells a lot of physical assets like that, gold and silver. But I think this is pretty crazy, though, because if they're able to hack into a big mortgage company like Mr. Cooper, then that means they're able to hack into anything. Like if people can't trust their personal information to be secure on the internet, which unfortunately I don't think you can at this point, then that's a breach of, you know, public trust in a way, because their systems aren't strong enough to stop that. And I think one really worrisome thing is if they start hacking the banks and then people are unable to get their money or have access to their funds. That could cause huge disruptions across the whole of North America and the world if they're able to do things like this, because digital banking is becoming more and more bigger and bigger than it used to be. So I think that could cause some problems.
That's exactly right. And here's the article from the World Economic Forum, just from a couple of days ago, actually, how to cope with cyber extortion from ransomware. So they're telling us how we need to become more resilient against cyber attacks, and the steps that the actors who are getting more sophisticated in attacking our economy. So they're basically just gearing us up for more to come. Then we have, I don't know if you can see it, Mr. Cooper, cyber attack laid bare 14.7 million people, information stolen, and cost hit $25 million. So if people's accounts are getting hacked this way, and we have, a lot of people are going to gold and silver for, a refuge for being able to save what the little they might have or not. If that's not going to be the case, if they're not going to be able to do that, how is that going to affect consumers?
Exactly right. If they hack all these different systems, because people might think, oh, well, then let's get gold and silver because we can't get any money out from our banks anymore. Then you can't even get gold and silver. So it seems like it's across the board. They're doing this, with mortgage companies, gold and silver companies, even state governments, like you talked about. And I think this could really adversely affect the real estate market, with a lot of stuff now being, handled online, a lot of transactions, large parts of them. So that can really change things
Yeah, I
in
mean,
the real estate market.
just think about everything that we do online, pretty much everything. We pay our bills online, we pay our mortgage bills, our taxes, and insurance. And if we all of our information is stolen, it's gonna definitely this can definitely spiral out of control if we continue on this trend. And how do we prepare for something like that?
Well, I think the big people who are going to be hit the worst are going to be people living in the big cities, because number one, everything is ran through money in the big cities, basically. All the goods and services. If you need to buy food, you need your bank account so you can use your money to buy food and groceries, to pay electricity, to pay your bills. But once the internet is not working very well, or there's major disruptions within the marketplace because of these cyber attacks, and you're unable to use certain things, that could cause a lot of bad things to happen in heavily populated areas, because people are going to start needing to go back to physical things, how we used to do things before the internet, basically to continue society if these attacks get any worse than they already are. And that will cause more disruptions in the city to begin with, because at least in more rural areas, if you own property and land, you can still grow your own food, you can still have access to different things, even if you don't have access to your bank account right away for a few days or a few weeks or whatever amount of time it's going to be, because the world basically runs on money as we see it. So if hackers can close down bank accounts and make it so banks aren't working digitally, it's going to hit, like in any disaster, the large cities the most. So it might be better to relocate to a smaller neighborhood that is less reliant on things internet related.
That's exactly right. And of course, a lot of people see gold and silver as a safe haven because it's the tangibles, right? But if you can't even buy those with these cyber attacks. But let's take a look at what I think might be the way that they want us to become more resilient as far as cybersecurity. So we heard of this Silicon Valley entrepreneur, Sam Altman, who wants to scan your eyes in exchange for free cryptocurrency. We heard about CBDC, and we been hearing about the universal income for a while, that they want to possibly implement that in the near future. And that's where everything is going to be done online.
That's a good point. And I think part of this hacking stuff and everything that's going on is they're saying there's a lot of unrest and there's a lot of things not working because of these hackers. So you
Mhm.
need to join the CBDC or this cryptocurrency basically because it's hack proof, or at least they'll sell it as that. Basically, it's the internet that you need to be on to actually use the internet, for instance, if that makes.
Yes, but did you know that he made the claim that we actually need CBDC, we need the world coin, which has been, I mean, they got millions of users the first day that it was implemented. And this thing, for those who don't know, the world coins is an orb that actually scans your eye. So people actually volunteer the first day to get their eye scan, and they get your biometrics from these. We actually have a video on that explains all about it. But what he says is that there will be less fraud and less hacking, because once they get your information from your eyeball, they won't be imposters, so to speak, or bots who will be able to hack and do all kinds of these things that we hear all the time. So that this will actually improve security, that we need this. They created a problem, and so we're to get a reaction, and the solution is this WorldCoin.
More control over people's lives, because
Exactly.
then you're forced to be using government services, or whoever gets to have the power over this CBDC, central bank digital currency, uh, because whoever controls the money supply makes the rules, and they would love to have everything digitally tracked and traced, because with physical dollars, there's a small percentage of money that might not be taxed by the government because they're not able to track and trace exactly what you're buying. And there's also big corporations who want your data so they can tailor advertising for what you want to buy. So it's a huge thing. And I think at first it's going to be voluntary,
Right.
but they're going to make it so hard, it's going to be impossible to do anything without it.
Right. So in this case, the WorldCoin, how that works, you have to get your eyeball scanned by that orb. Once you do that, then in exchange, you are able to download this app on your phone with some digital income there, so what they call CBDC. And then with that money, then you'll be able to start being able to do what you need to do. But that's basically, like you mentioned, is taking place, it's only voluntarily, and that's how they all start all of these. But then it's going to become an essential, the essential way that people are going to be forced eventually, maybe even very soon. So this article actually explains how the infrastructure for the universal basic income, the infrastructure for the WorldCoin is a concept that parallels to a universal basic income, or UBI, which has been promoted by Altman and several other high-profile figures in tech. The idea, by handing out cash regularly to citizens for free, governments can mitigate the impacts of artificial intelligence and automation on workers. So this is something that we need to look for. This might be actually what the World Economic Forum means about becoming more resilient. This might be
Well,
their
they're already starting to do everything in regards to this. Like they're
yeah.
trying to sell. The next thing is self-driving cars. And then if you go over the speed limit, your car will shut off, or you're going to get a ticket, or you're going to get all these things in the name of safety. But then you're losing, any freedom basically, because they track and trace you. They know exactly what you're doing. Whenever you step out of line, or whatever they perceive you're stepping out of line, then they can squash you like a bug, because they know exactly where you are. And this is already starting to take place, of course. And I think the really only solution is that you can start stocking up on food and things of that nature, moving to a more rural area to escape a lot of the pandemonium that's going to break out in the cities, which always happens in a major disaster. And
Well,
if you
yes,
look
it is. Yes, it is right now. It's pretty impossible to live in some of these big cities. Just look at San Francisco, for example, where even the stores are, empty now, because all the merchants, everybody who had a store there before don't want to have that anymore. due to all the break-ins, right? And
Exactly, and I think it's a good idea because any house in San Francisco mostly is worth multi-millions of dollars. And if you're retired anyway,
right.
or you can basically buy, hundreds of acres in a different state, for instance, and have a nice big house, and you don't need to live in the city anymore.
Or
And I
you can buy yourself a piece of property that might not be that expensive, but then you can purchase rentals with whatever extra equity that you might have and be able to live on that. So that's the way
exactly.
what a lot of people have done. So yeah, if anyone needs to relocate, of course, we're happy to assist you. We are a real estate broker. My son is a real estate agent. We own Gold Country properties out of Northern California. We serve the San Francisco Bay Area and all the adjacent areas. But whether you are relocating in California or anywhere in the United States, feel free to give us a call. We're going to have our contact information below. We're more than happy to assist you in finding a realtor in the area that you are planning on moving to, if that's out of state, and we can make that experience go smooth, because it can be a very stressful time for people when they're, in between buying and selling and downsizing and so forth. Anything else you would like to add to that, Alex?
Oh, nothing. I would just like to thank you all for watching the video. And if you'd like to sell your property in the Bay Area and move to a different state or move to a more rural part of California, you can definitely give us a call and we can assist you in that endeavor. And yeah, thanks for all for watching. If you could please share this with your friends, we'd really appreciate that.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.